Arsenal Football Club, you are horrible. Horrible to me. I do not want Liverpool to win the Premier League title. And I know if Arsenal had won today and won versus Everton, it probably would have made no impact, and Liverpool is still going to win the Premier League title. But what's annoying is when I can hate watch Arsenal in the Champions League, you're putting in this amazing performance versus Real Madrid. And when I actually want you to get results in the Premier League, you're just like, you know what, nah, the season's up. And look, had Arsenal won their last 2 games, it probably would have meant nothing. Liverpool is still going to win the league. They only need 3 wins from the next 7 games. And that's assuming Arsenal win all of their remaining games. And considering you could tell from Arsenal's performance today that their head is in Madrid, their head is in the Champions League, that's what they're focusing on. It's not going to happen. It's like, when I want Arsenal to win, they don't win. When I want them to lose, they go and batter Real Madrid 3-0. And we know how good Arsenal can be. We saw it versus Real Madrid. We know the quality. Arsenal on their day are incredible. And it's just like they've known the last 3 months the Premier League season is over, and I think they've not put that effort in the Premier League knowing it's over. But I have to say, with Liverpool dropping off a little bit this last month, maybe, pardon me, Liverpool have got a bit too comfortable. I look at the Everton points dropped, I look at the Fulham game, I look at the West Ham game you lost, and I look at today and I go, had Arsenal got the results, this title race would be very close, because there might be 10 points between Arsenal and Liverpool, but it could be Arsenal could have 10 more points, and it could be Liverpool have a game in hand, but it's close. And as a Manchester United fan, I do not want Arsenal to win the league, and they're not. Liverpool are going to win the league, but I would rather Arsenal win the league than Liverpool, and that's, that's 2 disgusting possibilities to choose from. Liverpool winning the league, Arsenal winning the league. But I have to say, Liverpool winning the league and equaling Fergie's 20 titles makes me feel sick, because the minute they get to 21 titles, I will be fuming with Man United, because Ferguson built Manchester United, this incredible team, did incredible success. He overtook Liverpool just for us to be a horror show the last 10 years. So anyway, I want to talk about Saliba and I want to talk about Declan Rice in today's video. I want to talk about Arsenal, what they need to do in the summer, Saliba, Declan Rice, actually analyse Arsenal. I also want to talk about Liverpool quickly here and give my general thoughts. So, maddest thing is, Liverpool probably could win it against Tottenham. The league against Tottenham, which is the most Tottenham thing. Liverpool winning the league against Tottenham is the most Tottenham thing. They've got to beat West Ham, which you expect them to win. Leicester away. I mean, West Ham at home should be a guaranteed win. Leicester away should be a guaranteed win. And Tottenham, when that's the game that's going to win you the league title, I think it's Tottenham. So I think that Liverpool are going to win the league versus Tottenham. I just don't see them not winning these next 3 games, particularly when quite easy opposition. And that's horrid. 20 titles. They're going to equal our record. City do the treble, equal the United's treble. Liverpool now equaling the 20 titles. Every United record is just going. I hate being a Man United fan right now. I don't know if you'd have been able to guess that. But let's talk about Arsenal. Arsenal know their Premier League season is over, and I think they've known that for a while. As a Man United fan, you could see Arsenal, how good they were versus Real Madrid, and it makes it so frustrating because it's like, why couldn't they have done that versus Everton or West Ham? And the truth is, Real Madrid gave them space. Real Madrid tried to attack them, and, Arsenal had that space and they exploited it, and Declan Rice just put in some worldies of a free kick. I think when you part the bus versus Arsenal, and this is why I think Newcastle have been Arsenal's toughest opposition this season, but when you part the bus versus Arsenal, you can frustrate them. That's what I said, and I said it before the game. Arsenal should be happy they're playing Real Madrid and not Atletico Madrid, and Atletico Madrid. And a lot of people said, what do you mean? I said, Atletico Madrid will part the bus. Arsenal have to break them down. Arsenal will struggle, and they'll shithouse their way to a win. Real Madrid, particularly with the injuries and everything, are so vulnerable at the back. They're not that good this season. They've just got quality in attack. And if you can defend well, and we know Saliba, Rolls Royce of a defender, can defend well. We know Arsenal can defend well. You just need to take your chances. And they took their chances because Declan Rice scoring 2 free kicks. That doesn't happen often. But you could see that Arsenal could have scored 6 or 7 versus Real Madrid, how dominant they were, how all over Real Madrid they are. And while it isn't the Real Madrid of seasons before, it shows you how good Arsenal are and how good they can be. And it's frustrating that I feel like we haven't seen that throughout the league. And I think that's because the Havertz injury, the setback, the Saka injury, the setback, the Odegaard injury, refereeing decisions, the setback, I think mentally it's had that impact on the Arsenal squad. And I think they've sort of checked out, I think, when Havertz got injured in January and sort of assumed Liverpool were going to win the title, not realising that Liverpool were going to have a little bit of a drop-off this last month and maybe get too comfortable, and maybe they look at it now and had they had won this game, there could have been a bit more pressure on. Losses to West Ham and draws to Fulham and Everton other games where maybe they win. Now, I do think a big key difference is with Saka out was huge because Saka, I think, is the only player at Arsenal as a game winner that can, win that game. I mean, Declan Rice has recently, but he's your midfielder. You need your wingers to do that, your attack to do that. And he's been a big loss, whereas Real Madrid will be crap and Mbappe will get a winner, Bellingham will get a winner, Vinicius will get a winner. Do you know what I mean? And I think in the Premier League, if Arsenal get that striker and that left winger, particularly someone that's good in transition, that winner, a lot of the games they drew this season with the players back from injury, with a bit of luck, with not silly yellow cards being red cards, the Lewis Skelly sending off, the Declan Rice, the Trossard sending off, Arsenal will turn a lot of those draws into wins. And that's why I worry Arsenal win the league next season. A creative midfielder, a left wing and a striker, and the league is theirs next season. I honestly think that. Although Liverpool have been very good, and I think people are disrespecting how good Liverpool have been this season because they'll go off, Liverpool lost their second game of the season to Fulham, and people were saying Liverpool were the worst title winners ever, and it's like the worst title winners ever with 2 losses so far this season. People were going off recency. Liverpool have been unreal this season, but they're not complete. And I think if FSG do what FSG do and do not spend a lot of money, I think you would think Arsenal will win the title next year. You can't rule Liverpool out of that. You can't rule City out of that. I think Liverpool right now would still be favourites going into next season because we don't know what's happening in the window. But Arsenal have something there. I think they look tired. I think the heads are in Madrid. I think the heads are in the Champions League. And that's fine. But if you don't win the Champions League, you'll be looking back at the Evertons, the West Hams, the Brentfords and saying, why didn't we win that? Now, one player that's been unbelievable for Arsenal lately is Mr. Declan Rice. What can't this guy do? 8 goal contributions in his last 10 games, 16 goal contributions this season, which is his joint best ever tally, and he's played 7 less games so far this season. His development on the ball since joining Arsenal is crazy. Everybody knows that Declan Rice is unbelievable off the ball. He's an unbelievable athlete. He can sniff out passing lanes. He can improve the rest defence. And we saw Arsenal's defensive record last season, and Declan Rice at 6 was a huge part of that. But he's been playing more advanced lately, and he's been showing his ball carrying, his ball striking outside the box, the goal versus United, the free kicks, his passing range and his ball carrying range. And because he's got that power and he's a pure athlete, it's really, really good. Arsenal lack transition threat, and I've always said Arsenal needed a winger that's going to be a real pacey outlet, transition threat. Declan Rice and Thomas Partey with the transition threat, not their attack today. Declan Rice was ball carrying. But again, the thing that tells you Declan Rice is good is the fact that he cost £100 million and nobody brings up his price tag. People still bring up Enzo Fernandez's price tags, but they don't bring up Casado's now because Casado's been a monster for Chelsea. When your price tag isn't being brought up by rivals, you know the player's good. And I think, he was excellent today. And I think had he not been English and he hadn't been a Real Madrid or Barcelona player, I think Declan Rice would get the credit he deserved. I wanted Man United to sign him the summer he went to Arsenal because I think he's such a talented player, but because he's not got that, I'm technical when I play in the Liga, even though he is technical, he doesn't get that credit he deserves. I think people underrate how good of a player Declan Rice is. Saliba is a player that I think everybody knows he's unbelievable, and I thought he was just as good as Rice today. He won possession 8 times in the first half alone, which was more than the rest of the team combined. He sniffs out danger, he can get to any ball, you can't get past him. Saliba on his day, you can't get past him. But the mad thing about Saliba is it's not just you can't get past him, but he's also got that rare quality on the ball, but he's really good in build-up, really good at playing out from the back. I think he could have easily been man of the match. I thought Raya had a good game as well, I thought Thomas Partey had a good game, and I think considering the starting 11 that Arsenal fielded, I know it's a 1-1 draw to Brentford, but they're a good side. I think Arsenal, when you look at the starting 11, everything, had a pretty good game. I mean, these are Saliba's statistics here. Most touches, most passes completed, most final third entries, most possession won, most duels won, most chances created, 3 clearances, 2 out of 2 take-ons. It's the first time he's created 3 chances in a Premier League game. He was fantastic today. Continuing on, I do think Arsenal have had 0 luck with referees. They've been hit bad by referee decisions all season. I will give Arsenal that. Even when they play well, I think they've been unlucky not to score. And I do think, the Martinelli thing should have been a red card. 100% today. But what is missing from Arsenal, in my opinion? This is what I've written in my notes. Or wrote. Is it wrote or written? Arsenal draw too many games because they lack the killer in the final third. This is something they're going to address in the summer. At times, they look too safe. I don't think you were taking risks. Maybe you don't feel like you need to take risks. You're playing it safe. With the right summer signings, I think you can convert a lot of these draws into wins. I think you've got a very good project going on. And as much as I'd like to slander Arsenal, I do think there's a good project there. But you need to get the right striker, the right transition winger that's a threat on either side that could take people on 1v1 and create. And the creative 10 or 8, I would look at Morgan Rogers. You probably can't afford him. Xavi Simons would be a very good fit. And there is rumours that he will be available. So, what was my final thought? If Arsenal don't win the Champions League, they're going to look back at this Premier League campaign with some regret. Because not that they were bad, but they didn't go all in, I think, when Liverpool dropped off. I think they sort of realised in January it's probably over. Havertz injured, and I think they got a bit too deflated by the setbacks, whether it was a bad refereeing decision, whether it was an injury. I felt like the Arsenal squad got too deflated by the setbacks, and it impacted them on the pitch. Liverpool are well-worthy winners. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I hate to say that, but I just wish Arsenal had shown a bit more, because I know what Arsenal are capable of, and we haven't quite seen that this season. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Bye.